I just got this box today. I'm incredibly excited to open it up. It's from Analogue. They're a company up in Seattle, Washington. Inside this box is the Analogue NT Mini. It's an NES and Famicom system console. It perfectly replicates, allows you to play any of those games, any of the attachments, any of the accessories for a Nintendo Entertainment System or a Famicom system, from the Zapper to the Famicom microphone, any of those accessories, any of the controllers, all of the original software, and it perfectly emulates, perfectly plays all of the games. Let's get to it. It's got their little logo there. A 5-pound box. Here's what's inside. The box with the analog itself and these styrofoam inserts. Nothing else here. We'll set that aside, and we'll take off these styrofoam inserts. So here it is. I've got my scissors here. Let's open it up very carefully. So I'm a collector of Nintendo games. I have about 100, and I only collect the very best. I'm not interested in filling out a whole collection. I don't see the purpose of collecting every game if I'm not going to play every game. So I have about 100 of what I consider to be the very best Nintendo games. A couple games from other systems, a couple Famicom games that are Famicom exclusives, and a couple Super Nintendo and Genesis games. But mostly, this is what I'm interested in. We'll set this wrapping aside. This is the perfect system for me because of that collection. I'm really interested in high quality original hardware and getting the closest possible display. This is proving to be hard to open. Getting the closest to the original hardware as possible on a high definition television, which is not really that easy. Wow, this is really difficult. There we go. We're starting to get a little bit of air inside. Okay, here we go. This is the exciting moment. Pop this box open. Finally, there we go. Oh my, look at that. That is beautiful. So we've got, this is the brains, the body of the whole thing. It's a solid block of 6061 aluminum. It's carved out of that, and it's got a transparent base that we'll see. But you can see the two slots for Nintendo and Famicom cartridges. I'm going to put this lid aside. There's really nothing else to see there with that lid. We don't need that. I'll pull this out very carefully. Oh man, and that just feels solid. It's got a nice metal, I'm certainly not going to drop it, but I think if you were to, it would survive. It feels substantial. It's not plastic, it's not going to break, it's not going to flex. Like I mentioned, the bottom is transparent. You can see through to the circuit board here, and a couple of different connectors. It's got some vents, I imagine, for cooling, and it's got some rubber pads that help it to stick where you put it on the table. Beautiful, beautiful bottom side there. On the front, we've got Analogue's logo. This little light, that little pinhole will light up when you turn it on. It's got 4 controller ports, so you don't need I think it's called the 4-play, that will convert the classic Nintendo, which has just 2-player ports, to a 4-player system. This is always a 4-player system. It's only a handful of games that support 4-player, but you don't need that accessory now for that. We've looked at the bottom, we've looked at the front. These are the original shape and size. They match exactly the original manufacturing specifications of the classic Nintendo, so there's no compatibility issues there. On the side here, this is an SD slot. The brains of this is, the brains of the Analogue NT Mini is a field programmable gate array. It's a microchip that you can update, and the way you do that is through an SD card. So as Analogue releases updates to this system, maybe little bug fixes, maybe feature enhancements, you can update your software the firmware. I'm sorry, the firmware on this system through that port. On the back here, we'll start over here. This is, of course, your HDMI Out Port. This system will play games at 1080p, 720p, or 480p. And that happens through this port. You can send that signal. That's your HDMI signal, or you can also use this VGA port. And I'm not sure if you can read that. It will output RGB, component, S-video, or composite. Here's the thing, you have to have an extra cable to do that. The pinout is the standard generic default VGA pinout for those types of video signals, but you have to have an adapter for that. I have such a cable. Let me show you. This cable, there's a difference between an adapter and a converter. This is just an adapter. It's a passive system. It takes the VGA pins. This will connect here. I'm not going to plug it in just now, but it'll take the VGA pins and it'll output either an RCA signal, a composite signal, or an S-video signal. So that's what this cable does. This cable is separate. It doesn't come with the Analogue NT Mini, but I will be connecting this system to an HD TV and to an S-video CRT TV. So that's why I got that. That's a separate thing, but good to know. You can output any of those signals, but you have to have a separate cable. This is for analog audio. You've got right and left channels. There's audio embedded in the HDMI signal. That's 48 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo signal. Beautiful sound. And this console makes the original Nintendo. There's so many great songs and scores in a lot of these games that you can take advantage of. This is the microphone, the Famicom microphone port. That's where you would plug that in. I am not sure what this is. I think this is a Famicom system thing. This is your power input. This console is region free. You can play this in the United States or in Japan, in Europe, in the United Kingdom, or in Australia, and there are appropriate adapters for the power cable that connects here. This is a USB port that allows you to charge the controller that it comes with. It's a wireless controller. We'll talk about that in a minute. And of course, here is your power button, on and off. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and let's see what else is in the box. So we've got this foam insert. I'm going to take that off. Cardboard layer. I'll set that aside also. Got our little instruction manual that tells us about these ports. We talked about all of these. Let's see what that one I didn't recognize was. Yeah, Famicom expansion. That's this port on the back. Yeah, this is the Famicom expansion port. So, that would, I know, that would be the Famicom disk system would use that. That's where that would connect. As I said, it's compatible with all the original hardware. So really kind of just a brief overview. Not a lot of instructions here, not a lot needed really. How to clean, user guide, handling and care, support, frequently asked questions. Set that aside. Looking further, let's start with the power system, I guess. As I mentioned, it's region free, so you can take this anywhere in the world. You can purchase this and play it anywhere in the world. You can play it over in Australia or in Japan, of course in the United States, or over in Europe, in South America, any of these places. And you have the power cord here. Set that bag aside, and you just switch out the converter here. So you have to Looks like you have to push here to release that. Oh, it slides. Yeah, there you go. So these are the 4 different adapters you can put on. I'm here in the United States, so I'm going to use that adapter, and that'll just plug right in to the back, right there. So that's the power. I'm going to set these aside. I don't need them. In fact, I'm just going to set that aside and keep digging through the box here. This is an HDMI cable. I will open it. Not a particularly long cable that comes with it. In fact, that's really short. That's maybe 2 feet in length, maybe 3 feet, but I don't know. I've got a longer one that I think I'll end up using. I'll set that aside. Also inside the box here, an HDMI, or I'm sorry, a USB cable. Again, this is for charging the controller. So you've got a USB end that would plug into the back of the Analogue NT Mini right there. And then this end is going to plug into our controller. So this is the controller that ships with it. It's an 8-bit DO. It's made by 8-bit DO. And it's a wireless controller with no lag. It's the NES 30, and it connects through this little guy here. This will plug into the front of the Analogue NT Mini, and then you can play wirelessly with this. And it feels, I mean, if you were to close your eyes, it's got the same weight, the same feel of the classic Nintendo controller that we all know and love. Same dimensions. Of course, they've added an X. They've added an extra button at this X and Y, and they've altered the position of the B and the A to be on the diagonal like that. And they've also added an L and an R button. You can use some of these. You can program the Analogue NT Mini to interact with this. Use some of these special buttons to bring up menu options and that sort of thing. So that's that controller. Again, wireless input lag, and this connects to the front of the system just like that. That's how you would do that. That's everything that's in the box. This is the Analogue NT Mini. It's again, like I say, it comes from Analogue, a company out of Seattle, Washington. Everything that you get in the box right here. I got it for $449. Pre-ordered back in August, and it was about a 6-month waiting period before it finally shipped and arrived. But it's beautiful. If you're a collector, if you're somebody who loves Nintendo games, if you love the Famicom system, and you want your games to be playable on current technology, this is a must-have. The first version of this, the predecessor, was the Analogue NT, and it had a port here that was a little bit too narrow, and it would scuff carts. Apparently, you'd put your Nintendo cart in, and it would scuff it as you're pulling it in and out. So this has been modified to allow for your cart to be in good shape. HD signal, 1080p, 720p. Or 480p, and of course all of the good analog signals that I'm going to be taking advantage of through this cable here. But just exciting. I can't wait to power it on and get to some classic gaming. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw here, subscribe or comment on the video below, and good luck in your gaming.